corner. Galvin pulling it across. This kick by Sansom, in goes Aldridge, and Houghton! 1-0!
So for me, actually, I'd been on the team for I think 3 years when we came up to 2010. So I remember the first time I got asked up by Noel King, and I think I had just turned maybe 15, and we had played interprovincials down in Athlone, a kind of, Ulster, Connacht, Leinster competition. And then Noel King actually came down to Donegal, and we were at the time training in this kind of, Donegal select crew. And he just pulled me aside and said he'd like me to come up and just train with the under-17s just to get a feel of what the international setup is like. And so I went down kind of with, just going down for a weekend of football to see how these girls play. And yeah, we played, I think, maybe 4 hours on a Saturday, 4 hours on a Sunday. And next thing I knew, I was getting called into the next camp. So that was probably my first early memory. And obviously I was slightly terrified, slightly excited. And then since that day, I'm born in 93, and there was a few of us 93s on that team, and from there up to 2010, Noel King was just getting more excited with more players that were coming. We all just seemed to be coming in at 93, and even from that age, I was already looking forward to my final year at under-17s, because there just seemed to be girls coming, at different times throughout the few years, all born in 93, and Noel King from the get-go was like, we're going to the finals. So, we qualified in Slovenia, qualified in Ukraine, again, 2 kind of hard group stages, but we managed to get out of there, even though I think we drew with Ukraine in the late stages, which was, our first match, massive, kind of not expected, so we had to go out and beat Sweden, which we did. So that was the first time I think we all started being like, we have a good team here. And then the finals, we got piped against Germany in the semi-finals. So at that time, Germany were winning, the kind of under-17s, under-19s, seniors. They were the elite women's team in Europe. So we were, we knew we were going to go in defensively, but Noel King had us drilled and kind of instilled that belief that if we stuck to our game plan, we could just get away with this. And that's what we did. Megan Campbell scored a lovely free kick, and we held out for a 1-0 win to get to the finals against Spain. The final was over in Switzerland in the kind of UEFA headquarters. You're talking 30 plus degrees. Game was played in the middle of the day against Spain, who, as their male counterparts, are extremely technical, very good, and obviously used to the hot weather. But again, a little bit of luck on their side. I think they had 1 goal disallowed, and they hit the crossbar, they hit the post. We had a few chances, but we got to penalties, and unfortunately, just something we hadn't practiced, and it didn't go very well. But, we were qualified for a World Cup. I just come second in Europe, first ever women's team to get to that phase, and we were just on a high, really. It was incredible. And it's 10 years this summer, so it's kind of, it's mad. It doesn't feel like 10 years ago at all, but it was a great time. Absolutely. Like, even, I've kept a scrapbook. I know my mum used to keep all the newspaper clippings, but like news coverage at that time was massive. I think we were on the 6-1 News nearly every day with daily updates, especially when we went to Trinidad for the World Cup. We had a media officer with us, and there was lots to talk. I was getting messages from people probably who didn't even know I played football or knew that women's football was at the level it was. It definitely, even talking to the likes of some younger players now coming up in Donegal, like they remember it so well as kids and stuff. So I definitely think it was a huge drive behind the kind of changes that started within women's football. They were slow to come afterwards, and even since then, I think, the under-19s 2 years after us qualified for the elites, teams were pushing on from there. And I do think it kind of, even for funding, different things seemed to improve slightly afterwards as well. So definitely. So the Europeans, the standout moment would have been Megan Campbell's free kick. It was about 45 yards out, top corner. Megan's very well known for her throws, but she also has a serious left foot on her. And it was just, the whole place went crazy. Like all our parents, family, everybody was there. I think there's pictures of all of us just running towards the bench. And it was just, the only downfall to that goal was that it was scored so early and then we had such a long time to try and hold out. But really for me, that is the kind of the standout moment, because that goal led to our, place in the final and place for the World Cup qualification. So it was, can still see it pretty clearly in my head. Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, it's 10-year reunion this year, so there's been some talk about trying to get us all back together. But even our parents are still friends. Myself, Siobhan, Dora all went to UCD, and then there's like Nisa Sullivan, Megan Campbell now playing professional, Grace Maloney as well. Honestly, we do keep in contact, and social media is so much easier now as well. But yeah, a lot of core players from that team are still pretty good friends. So it was a special group. Yeah, I think I have all my jerseys from the European final. I think got a Spanish one as well, and then I have all four of my match day jerseys from the World Cup, and then the footballs that were out for the South Africa World Cup, the Jublajani, or I don't know how to pronounce that word, but what was it called? It was this new special Adidas type of ball that came out. We actually got them sent over to Ireland before the tournament because they fly to the ball like you think it's coming straight at you, and then it would take a little turn. But anyway, we all took one of those balls home and we got everybody to sign it. So I still have that on top of my cupboard at home. So yeah, a few mementos. Probably taking up too much space in my house at this stage. But yeah, no, I don't think anybody could pay me enough money to throw them out.